Perry, what do you got? Say your
Russ
name,
Perry.
where you're from.
Russ Perry, Scottsdale, Arizona. I've hit a wall with training my team because I have these big co-ed teams. I don't have these segregated all-male teams or all-female environments. Right. And my last challenge I tried to run with the team just got really fucked up because of the energy and the depth and the intensity and, I don't know, maybe violating HR rules. But so like, how do I handle that? Because I got great teams and they buy into it, but it's really weird.
Are they buying into, like, are you talking about the truth side of the game?
My training into them with,
Yes.
challenges and Warrior's Way and building them up as my team members, building their frames.
So inside of it, when I comes to building the frame of the individual, it's going to be different. So the intensity I play with, if you came in and watched me in a female event, all women in here last week with doll heads, all my artists, it's the energy I come with them is still intense, but the frame in the game is a little bit different.
Right.
Right? I literally can't yell at them like I am yelling at you guys.
What if you had co-ed?
If I had co-ed in the same place, then I yell at the guys, and then I speak to the women.
Okay. So you're just
I will literally change it up. I'm completely sexist about it.
Yeah.
Yes. It's the same way I would treat my son versus the way I treat my daughter. I treat everyone equal as producers, and the way we do that is with responsibility to frameworks and results. But I'll play with a different intensity. Like I have executive team will be in here next week for 2 of my clients, and it's mixed, right? CFO's a guy, COO's a woman, like there's men and women in the same room. But you'll be amazed if you can blend this energy too. I will not, and I've already trained these women before, I don't come at them aggressive in the sense of like, and I slam the tables, but I almost went fist to fist with one of the executives during our last retreat. So I'll take it to the line with men. And then my intensity with women is still very intense. But what marries all of it together is a clarity of frameworks and execution.
Right.
Is this helping?
Yeah.
Okay,
Great.
and I'll share this framework drop, and then I think this will connect a bunch of it for you too.
All right.
Okay, 2 o'clock. Boom. Okay, one comment from here, somebody new. Yeah, get your hand up. Both you guys. Oh, I like it, right over top. Okay, name and where you're from.
Brandon Grant from Lawrence, Kansas. I had a question when we were talking and sharing. Is the sequence of doors, do you consider that a frame or a blueprint?
So it's frame. Sequencing of the doors is part of the frame. So the frame itself, if you look at the doors, I'm going to draw this out here in a second. Okay, but the doors are all pieces to the ultimate war. Here are the 4 fundamental doors that have to be opened as the general that I know need to be opened for us to get to victory. Now I need to figure out what order I believe they need to be put in. But in many cases, which you'll see here in a second, I may have 4 separate groups of my teams working on each of the doors at the same time. Okay? I'll draw this out, and I think this will make sense.
Thank you.
Okay, 2 up. Boom. Okay, I'll come back over here for some more questions in a second. Let me give you the visual picture on this so that I think it'll connect the dots for a lot of you. Okay, a couple other questions you need to write down. So what order must the doors domino? So question 1, where am I at? 2, where am I committed to go? 3, what are the 4 doors to get there? 4, what order must the doors domino? 5, who is going to own the door? Okay, so oftentimes I would have the teams and I would still want to own all the doors. And then inside of owning a door, the person who owns the door has to figure out how to do it. So then I would feel completely overwhelmed because I would feel like I had to own each door and then I had to figure out how to do everything. And then I found myself figuring out all the doors and how to do the doors and then handing them to very well-paid individuals on my team to just do exactly what I had already built. And what I was building was drones and killing the creative power inside of them and at the same time stressing myself out. How many of you have ever hired somebody only to feel more stressed out hiring them because you feel like you have to put together a shit for them to do? Okay, same game. And I'm like, man, I'd rather just fucking do this on my own because I'm getting stressed out. And the bigger your teams get, the more this happens. But your culture is driven from the top down based upon frameworks. But if you have no framework, or the framework is you create the vision and everyone on the team expects you to figure out how to do everything, then no one's ever required to rise as a builder. They're now just an implementer. In my team, my front line inside of our companies are builders. which means I'm not trying to figure out how to pull shit off for them. I did that for years. I was exhausting myself, and that's why my team was like 4 or 5 people. But even inside of those 4 or 5, I don't tell Sam how to do shit. I just don't. I give him a mission. Here's the outcome. Here's where we're going to go. Here's where we currently are. Here are the 4 doors. Here is a sequence of the doors. Then I hand it off to Coach Sam, and I say, 3, 2, 1, off you go. Coach Sam style. Then he'll go and figure it out. Coach Jesse, who's part of our team full-time now, they're certified trainers. Same thing. Colin Talley, Gus, Jeremy, Sam, everybody, Daniel, all the people on my team, all my artists. I don't tell this is how we're going to do it. I get clear on what the doors are and then hand it off for them to be able to experience the responsibility of being the how. The how to do shit is simple, but it becomes very complex in a larger organization if you as the owner are responsible to do what? To have the how across the board for everybody. How many know what I'm talking about? Okay, if you have any size of team, you get it. Okay, next questions on this. Who's going to own the door? Next, what are the keys to opening the door? That is the how. And then the last piece, who's going to hold the doorman accountable to opening the door? Okay, now if you do this correctly, which I'm going to drop a little framework for you to look at visually, which will help you with this. This means the only thing I'm worried about, if we start on Monday and we are returning and reporting on Friday, do I care what's happening during the week? Do I care what hours you're working? Do I care how long you're working? Do I care if you went to your kids' performance in the afternoon? Nope. I care about one thing by Friday. By Friday noon, guess what better open? The fucking door. So they'll come back to me. People on my teams will come back to me. Well, Garrett, what about this, what this? And I was like, do you think it will open the door? I don't know. Well, what do you think you should do? Test it? Okay. And if it opens the door, guess what? We know it worked. And if it didn't open the door, guess what? Fucking try again. I had a team member of mine getting on a flight to go deal with a family issue today, well, a relationship thing. He took off on a flight at 6 o'clock. I sent him a message in the morning. I said, I appreciate that you got these issues going on with your family. You know I love and respect and appreciate you. Here's the deal. That fucking door you were assigned, it has to be open before you leave. So I appreciate you. I wish you the best. I hope you get shit straight. But your door is important in the sequence. You fuck that door up, you're going to fuck the next 3 doors up. So that door has to be open by 5 o'clock when you fly out. Clear? He's like, clear. I was like, good. Am I spending any time trying to tell him how to do it? No. I figure out who's going to own the door, and I give him a timeline of when the door needs to be opened. And then I let him, and I empower him, and empower her, and empower those on my team to figure out creatively how to open the door. How many of you right now, just from a leadership position from Frames, how many of you are legitimately you are starting to see the power in this? Stress levels go to you're still going to be stressed out, I ain't going to lie. You're going to be stressed because when you do this right, there's a lot of fucking doors. So you're sitting back, you're like, fuck, now I need people to help me organize all these goddamn doors. Which then goes down to the last question, which is who's accountable? Who's accountable to manage and to hold accountable the doorman? So then now I'm in a place where I build in positions where there may be 40 doors that need to be opened, but I have one person responsible to make sure that the 7 people who are responsible to open all those doors, that all that shit gets done. So then I just come to the one person responsible for the 40 doors. I said, you're supposed to have these 23 doors open this weekend. Where are we at? So the responsibility tiers down, but everybody's clear inside of it that these are doors that we're creating. Let me open this up in a picture for you. So if the visual looked like this, then here is where today is. And I'm listing out the facts. Fact, 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 fact. And I will always keep it to 4. Here are the 4 primary facts about where we are today. This is our current reality. Now here's what I know is going to happen. We're going to dip, and then we're going to rise. And my team will tell you, I draw this out exactly. Here's where we are today. Here are the facts about today. Here are the facts that will be true when you have opened these doors. This is the fact that will be true. 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 Here are the 4 facts about where we are. Here's where we are. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when we win the war, here are the 4 facts that will be true. And you'll know we won the war because these 4 facts will be true. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it gives them the ability to know what it will look like over here because you're helping them look what it looks like right now. Then I minimize it to 4 doors maximum. But what if there's 17 steps? Fine, put them under a door. Keep everything to 4 doors for every war. Write that down. 4 doors for every war. You go beyond this, it gets too complicated. You would be amazed at how much the human mind can unpack underneath all these doors. Shitloads of data. But what they can't do is have shitloads of data in a long-ass checklist, not chunked down into frames. When you look at it as a door, I can open the door and it may open up a whole lot of shit. But then I close that door and where's all that shit go? Right back in behind that door. Now it's a clean framework. So I come to this, I say, okay, there are 4 doors that I've got to open. I've got door number 1, door number 2, door number 3, and door number 4. I sequence the doors. I draw out this exact map. Here are the facts about where we are today. Here are the facts about where we will be when it happens and we open the door. Here are the facts about what things will look like when we've won the war. Then I sequence the doors, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I assign the doors. So I may assign door number 1 to Jeremy, and assign door number 2 to Sam, and door number 3 to Jeff, and door number 4 to Daniel. And inside of these games, each of these 4 are going to figure out the 4 keys that they believe will open the door. When I distribute it inside of this framework, I let them get creative and go to town inside of the door. Does Jeremy have to know what's going on with Daniel? No. Who needs to know what's going on with Daniel? Daniel does. And who else? Me. Or whoever else is responsible for that door. Now, when you do this and you isolate the who inside of these doors, and they're working on figuring out how to pull that shit off, how to get that door open, they are ruthlessly focused here instead of worrying about everybody else's doors. You'll notice this weird tendency I started seeing over time. We would come to the table, worst ever was bring everyone into a meeting to brainstorm everything. How many of you have done this before? What happens is everybody starts to feel creative and wants to have their voice heard. So then you say something, Nathan says something that inspires me, then I have to say something. And then all of a sudden, and then you're hearing and you're like, shit, well, they're saying something. I feel like I should have to say something, so I justify myself being here in the room. Then you're saying something. Next thing you know, we're all like fighting for who's going to say something and nothing's getting done. You do not bring your ideas to a meeting or to an implementation with your team that you have not already put into this framework, because it forces you to get clear. You don't use your team to get clear. You use your team to get clear, you're going to fuck up your team. Because you're going to pull them out of their door and put them in the war, and they're going to panic. You're like, dude, all I need you to do is sit right here in this exact moment. You're going to look through this scope. If anybody walks past, shoot them. What else do I need to do? Nothing. Well, what are those guys doing? Doesn't matter. So that's it? Yep, that's it. Anything else? Nope, that's it. Just sit here, lie here, handle your shit, make sure your gun works. If anybody walks by, shoot them. Can I shoot them anywhere? I don't give a fuck. Just shoot them. Can I shoot them twice? Fine. As long as they're dead. That's it. Double tap it if you need to. Doesn't matter. Your mission is simple. Anyone walks by, you should know how the door. Here's the door. And then inside that, how they pull off that door, they're not worried about what sniper's doing. If they spend any time worrying about what he's doing, they can't be focused on what they're supposed to be doing. How many of you follow me right now? Okay? How many of you know that coming in as a leader to your organization and or even to your clients, that you tend to come into those situations with just slightly more chaos? Raise your hands. I used to use my teams as a brainstorming session. And we would have meetings that went for 3 hours. And we would whiteboard shit, and it was all awesome. And then I was like, what it really was laziness on my part. And it was hard for me to realize that my role, the most lethal role that I play in my organization is stepping out of the current war, getting clear about where we are. Where are we going? What are the doors? Who's going to own the door? And then deploy the next war. And it's my job to be clear about how each of the wars fit the overall purpose of the vision of the organization. In the beginning, you're going to realize that you are the problem. And you've wanted to blame everybody else as not being productive, but you're expecting people you brought in as snipers to be generals. They didn't train to be a general, they trained to be a sniper. Your marketing team was not trained to be accountants. I need the people on my team running ads to do one thing very fucking well. Guess what it is? Run ads. Do they need to know how to sell? No. That's not their job. That's not their role. What do I need my bookkeepers in each one of the companies? What do they need to do well? Know where every fucking penny goes. If a penny is spent, where did it go? Who spent it? Categorize it, give me a report on Friday. Their doors are very simple. As a leader, then, I spend days building these maps and then deploying these maps to the teams. It's very different because when you're used to being on the front line and you're used to being a guy who draws a sword in the trenches and who gets high as fuck, getting bloody, to step out and recognize that if I want to win the war, I'm going to have to unify the team. How many are you getting what I'm saying right now? So people say, well, what's been one of the secrets to Warrior's speed of execution? It's been my willingness to put execution into frames, to manage doors, but not manage blueprints. I don't build blueprints, I build war maps. War maps are different than blueprints. Blueprints can be burned, war maps stay the same. The doors do not change, just the strategy to open them is constantly moving. Constantly. And so my job as a leader is to empower the certainty in my teams to be able to, when the blueprint does not work, to feel confident enough that they have the authority to do what? Change shit. But if you have become a tyrant and a dictator inside of how you build your war maps and you deploy war maps and blueprints, then your people will be terrified, and they will sit there because things are stuck in the blueprint and they will not move forward. And then you will be pissed off at them. Do not be upset when your sniper cannot make bread. What the fuck? You can't bake bread? What's wrong with you? Dude, I just eat bread, bro. I'm not sure how to bake it. The fuck is wrong with you? Everybody is a sniper and a baker here. Next thing you know, you end up with a bunch of generalists who are no fucking good at anything. And nobody's qualified to open the door but you, and you're right back to the same situation you originally started with, which is an entourage of fluffers. People say, Garrett, what are you more interested in? How to think through things or how to do things? And I said, I'm more interested in how to think through things. There's a shitload of people who can teach doing. There are very few people who can teach thinking. And we live in a day and age where marketing changes how quickly. Shit that worked last week, guess what happened this week? Not working. Which means you have to be mobile, agile, committed to the war map, and be willing to surrender the blueprint at any given fucking moment. Stay ruthlessly committed to the war map and the victory, but be willing to submit the blueprint. How many of you know marriage can be a little bit slippery? So you have a blueprint about how date night's supposed to go down. How many of you have had that blueprint not quite turn out? I'll give you an example. My war map is pretty much the same every date night. It ends with me and my wife naked. That is the war plan. But when I was addicted to blueprints, I would set up how things were going to go down the whole date night. Here were the doors I was going to need to open to nakedness. This is the war map to a blowjob. This was what I was thinking. Then I would get in and I would go to war with my wife at door number 1 over the blueprint, like where we were going to go eat. She'd be like, I don't want to go there. And then I would be like, are you fucking kidding me? It doesn't fucking matter where I book us, you don't want to go there. Do you realize this? Do you realize you do this like every fucking time? Like I got us a reservation on Friday at the hardest place to get into, but no, you don't want to go there. You just told me last week you wanted to fucking go there. Now you don't want to go there today? Holy shit, woman. How can I actually please you if you're going to fucking change your goddamn mind every other day? How many of you know I just lost the war to win the blueprint? So then I'm sitting there in the car going, buddy, it looks like it's just you and me. Business and blowjobs are kind of the same. If you fall in love with blueprints, you can quote me on that shit. Business and blowjobs, they're kind of the same. Quote, quote, Garrett J. White. That's a new one. I haven't said that one. I like that one. My wife will be here tomorrow. She can validate how I fuck up the blueprint all the time. So inside of that, when I started letting go of the blueprint, what I realized was my wife was going to want to eat. It was highly probable that she was going to say no to wherever I booked. So I knew she wanted to eat, so I would build backup plans. Because I was committed to winning the war, not winning the blueprint battle. So I would bob and weave and bob and weave and bob and weave. She would change shit all the time. And then date night, I was like, I'm starting to get a handle of this shit. And at the end, I was not wanting to win the battle. I was wanting to open the door. Okay, you're going to get in a tripod, three of you together. You're going to discuss what you are taking from this framework idea. I need the concept in your head so that we can actually discuss the tactics of this and how it actually practically deploys tomorrow. But today you need the container. How many of you feel like you're getting the container? Okay, good. I can't put soup in your container. I can't put shit, enchiladas. Can't put some fucking chicken and rice. Can't put anything in there if you got no container. So get in a tripod. Let's go on your feet. Go find 2 new people. You 3 in a group. 3 of you in a tripod. 3.